So, after all the debating, all the research, and way too much money leaving my bank account, the bumper finally showed up. And that's the hardest part about buying this stuff online. You're making all your decisions based on marketing photos, partial information, random forum posts, and whatever companies decide not to show you. And meanwhile, Opie's trying to destroy this box like every package that's delivered to this house. And honestly, at this point, his was probably the smartest opinion in this garage, because I haven't even opened this thing yet. I still had no idea if this was going to be one of the coolest mods in my truck, or a very expensive mistake. I'm John, and this is Project Kehm. No sponsors, no discount codes, nothing for free. Just me and my garage trying to work this shit out and help you out along the way. So originally this was supposed to be a simple buy the bumper, install the bumper, and boom, I'm done. That lasted about 5 minutes, because once I started planning lighting, I realized the bumper itself was basically dictating half the decisions. The openings, the trim, the proportion, the mounting depth. This thing was very clearly designed around the rigid 360 system. And technically, yeah, you can force some other lights into it, but then you lose the finished appearance, and suddenly, the bumper starts looking like you made it work instead of designed it correctly. This is where everything starts getting stupid. I originally planned 1 spot beam and 2 driving beams, but then I found the red backlit rigid 360s for almost half the price. And suddenly, I became a red backlit light guy. Say that 3 times. Would I have picked red originally? No. But for this kind of price difference, I could learn to love it. And honestly, rigid's already good stuff. I'm not building some ultra hardcore night running desert truck. This thing's a daily driver, which happens to see occasional trail use, but mostly during the day. So I probably won't even use them that much. And if I'm really being honest, I don't even really drive at night. So the need for lights on a desert trail at night, I just don't see it happening. Then came the floodlights, and somehow that became another rabbit hole. I originally considered SAE fogs, but then I realized I wanted something that actually matched the aggression of the rest of the setup. And once the rigid 360s go in, those softer fog lights didn't feel right anymore. They're just not going to cut it. So I look at the rigid 3-inch pods. But then I remembered researching a company called Black Oak years ago. They had several wattages and also different colors you can choose from. So I ended up going with the Black Oak yellow 40-watt floods instead. Do I need 40? No, but they didn't offer the yellow lighting in anything less. And the decision really didn't have anything to do with hardcore or off-road performance. It was appearance, integration, balance, and price, and trying not to make that whole front end look weird. These are 40-watt pods, probably more than I'll ever need. So hopefully I didn't blow it. Red backlit lights with yellow pods? We'll see. So now comes the auxiliary switch planning. And this is where you realize how fast simple mods stop being simple. So now I'm trying to figure out current draw, switch capacity, future accessories, backlight wiring, flood patterns, driving patterns, and how not to overload the factory circuits. And then I discovered something else that completely changed how I look at the Bronco lighting system. I originally started wondering if I could just tap in the factory fog light circuit for some of this stuff, because Ford uses the same backbone for halogen trucks. But the real catch isn't the physical wires cooking, it's the brain controlling them. Because the Bronco doesn't handle lighting like older trucks. It uses FET-based digital circuit protection. You're playing a matching game with the body control module, or the BCM. If the truck's computer detects a current draw that doesn't match its programmed parameters, it doesn't pop a 20-cent piece of plastic. It literally shuts down the circuit electronically because it thinks something's wrong. And honestly, that's when I realized that modern vehicles are just becoming rolling computer systems. But we're going to put that factory logic to a test, because instead of just wasting an aux switch, I'm actually wiring the Black Oak yellow floods directly into the factory fog light circuit. If my math is right, the BCM should actually accept the load. If not, the truck shuts down and I'll be back to the owner's manual. And the Ford aux switch system, in my opinion, still one of the smartest things they put in the truck. So the plan is to run the 360s off of 2 aux circuits. One for the 2 outers and one for the center. That way I can choose multiple light setups based on the situation. Now for the bumper, this is the stuff nobody shows you online. Nobody shows you the backside structure, the mounting strategy, the actual dimensions for the lighting, how the bumper interfaces with the braces, or how these systems start interacting with each other. And once I finally got the box opened up and started studying the bumper, I realized how much of aftermarket modding is really just hidden engineering decisions. So now things get even more interesting. The Lobo Offroad Brace and Delete kit I put on my Bronco, it's designed to brace and triangulate the front frame horn area. But the ADD bumper, it mounts from behind the frame horn. So now instead of fully utilizing that forward side reinforcement hardware strategy, the bumper creates its own separate mounting relationship. That doesn't automatically make it weak, it just means different companies engineered around completely different assumptions. And unfortunately, this is the shit you gotta deal with when modifying vehicles. You stop buying parts and you start managing systems. So I'm here to tell you, this is why builds get expensive so fast. Because you think you're buying a bumper, or lights, or brackets, but really, you're buying into an entire ecosystem. One decision affects another, one company assumes something different than another. One mod changes how another mod works, and eventually you become the guy standing in the garage trying to make all this shit coexist. So no, I don't regret buying any of this, but I definitely understand this whole setup more than I did a few weeks ago. And that right there is exactly why I wanted to make this video. Not to complain, not to flex, but to show the reality behind how fast simple modifications stop being so simple. Because this stuff always looks easier online before the boxes start showing up at your house. Anyways, next video, we're wiring all this up, mounting everything, and finding out whether this whole setup actually works as good as it looks. I'm John, and this is Project Kehm.